Doctor?
Doctor.
We got some doctoring to do.
Yeah, we have a few subject to indoctrinate, I guess.
Want to warm up first? I got a good game for you.
Yeah.
This is this or that. This or that. A Bloody Mary or a mimosa?
Bloody Mary.
I gotta agree, Bloody Mary.
Especially if it has like all the bacon and shit.
Oh man.
With like a stick of bacon, some
a celery,
pickled asparagus and shit.
Yeah, man. Go the extra mile and put some shrimp in that bitch.
Ooh.
Mm.
This or that. Science or history?
Science.
Yeah, I do like history, but history seems like it. Well, I guess there's things new discoveries to be made every day.
I prefer science because it's like rock and roll. It's new frontier.
Yeah.
History has happened.
That's what I was gonna say. But like, you can uncover stuff about history that was previously thought one way and then disprove it, and now it's another way.
Yeah, I mean that's if you're being told the truth about it.
Yeah.
This or that. Movie or a TV show?
Depends. Depends on the movie, and it depends on the TV show. Like nowadays, I would rather watch a TV show because my attention span is so like, how long is this fucking movie? But
yeah, I'm definitely more of a movie person, with the exception, I love a good miniseries.
Yeah.
Just like a 6 or 8 episode, just banger like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Was fucking excellent.
Yeah, I like that just because they have a lot more time to play with. So instead of like a 2-hour movie, you have maybe 8 episodes, and each one is like maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's like a story being told over 8 hours rather than everything condensed into 2 hours.
Yeah, and you get way more character development out of that than you would out of a movie. And it's like, yeah, you can get good character development in a movie, but you have to operate with a smaller amount of characters versus like a miniseries or a full-blown season of a show. Like, you can really flesh out, a dozen characters.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm still going with movie.
Yeah. I'll have to agree. Movies are way easier to digest quickly.
Yeah, you can consume way more of them.
Consume them, yes. Okay. This or that. Beer or wine?
Beer.
Yeah.
Because there's certain wines I can't get into. I don't like anything that's super dry. And there's times I'll get one like even like a Riesling where it's kind of sweet. Did I pronounce that right? Riesling?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Phone friend, Kara.
But yeah, and it's like sweet, but it's still really dry, and you're like. But a beer is a beer.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a beer sounds good all the time. And wine sounds good like on occasion. Ooh, yeah, nice wine would go really well with this steak.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it too. Plus, it's like wine drunk is kind of miserable. Beer drunk is like, meh.
Yeah.
And I could drink a little bit of water and have some food and no longer be beer drunk like that.
Yeah.
Wine drunk, I'm in it.
Yeah, wine drunk, I'm more,
All right. This or that, headphones or a speaker for your music listening?
Again, it depends on where I'm at. Like, I prefer a speaker when I'm at home, but headphones like everywhere else.
Yeah, I'm like 95% headphones.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I'm listening to music and you find good music, like, I want that shit as far in my ears as I can get it.
Yeah.
I want that shit to vibrate my fucking soul.
Yeah. I like to listen to music in my car, just because I can turn it up as loud as I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time when I'm listening to music is usually on my headphones.
Yeah, those people who listen to music on headphones in the car are fucking psychopaths. I don't get it. Like, does your stereo work?
Maybe it doesn't connect to Bluetooth. It doesn't have Bluetooth or something.
It's weird when you pull up next to a car and it's like a modern, late model car, you know, like a 2020 or whatever, and they got their fucking earbuds in.
Yeah.
Like, that is... You're sick.
Yeah.
You need help.
Unless they're like talking on their phone. Maybe. I don't know. People are weird.
It is just weird.
Okay. Burger or pizza? This or that?
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
And it's funny because when I write these down, I try not to think of an answer. Because I want it to be more like natural and spontaneous. But that one, even when I wrote it down, I was like, that's a fucking tough one. I'm going to go with pizza.
Yeah. I have to agree.
There's just so much more variety.
I could eat 4 burgers in a row and then like somebody pulls out a pizza. I'm like, I just ate, but one slice will do.
Well, it's just the variety of like different toppings and shit. Because you know when you get like a what do you call it? Like a buffalo chicken pizza. And I'm not a big fan of buffalo chicken, but buffalo chicken pizza fucks.
Yeah.
Or a Hawaiian style or whatever. Like,
chicken bacon ranch pizza.
Chicken bacon ranch. Like, I'm a meat lovers. It's so good.
Yeah, I love meat.
Touched a nerve there. All right. This or that? Drive or fly?
Fly. Nah. Depends on who I'm with.
That's the ticket right there.
Yeah.
Like, if I gotta go with my kids, I want to fly.
Yeah.
Because I just want to get there.
I love my kids. Gotta say, great kids.
Tremendous. Probably the greatest kids you've ever seen. Yeah, if it was like a road trip with the homies, fuck yeah, dude. Let's get in the car.
Yeah.
But if it's like a family vacation thing, no, I just want to fly.
Yeah.
It also depends on distance.
Yeah.
Because driving to like Vegas or even Southern California is fine, but I would not want to drive to like Florida. Fuck that.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. It's an even longer bus ride. No, yeah, I mean, I actually like taking road trips, but my kids just fight and bicker and like, so it's just like typical fucking. I'm gonna have Mom pull this car over right now.
Babe, pull over. I like road trips by myself too.
Yeah.
But after like the 3 or 4 hour mark, you're like, okay, I'm over it now.
Yeah. Only 9 more hours to go. This or that? Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. I spend way too much time on TikTok, and I'm willing to bet out of like 100 videos I scroll past, I only watch like 3.
Yeah.
But Instagram, you can see posts and pictures and stills, and there's a lot more to it, I think. More versatile.
I think that I go on Instagram more often, but I think that I like TikTok better just because my algorithm is not really established on TikTok, and so I see just like random shit, which I prefer more.
Yeah.
Than Instagram is just right now, it's like a lot of political shit, and it's just like, okay, scroll.
Yeah.
When you show the algorithm, I don't want to fucking watch this shit.
That is the one thing about Instagram right now, is it's so filled with everything political, and like, I'm so tired of hearing about ice right now.
Yeah.
Like, the only ice I'm concerned about is the ice that goes in whiskey.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
This or that. A sundae or a shake.
Sunday.
I gotta go with shake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it on the move, like you can. It's more mobile.
I like a good shake, you know. Comes in a cup, you're just doing this. Like, I think with the sundae, especially if I make the sundae, I put too much shit on it, and then I don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Chocolate and butterscotch and strawberry and the fucking banana and the nuts, and I just overcomplicate it. With a shake, somebody else makes it. I pay for it, get it at the window. It's got Reese's and fucking cookie dough in it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one of my first jobs when I was a kid, I worked at Leatherby's.
Oh, yeah?
And like when I don't even know if I was 16. I had to be just barely turning 16. And so I just got a really, like, I was a dishwasher, and so, like, especially on the weekends, they would have Friday nights busy, and then you come in on Saturday morning, and they couldn't wash all the dishes, so they have dishes that you have to come in and wash in the morning. So it's just like stale, crusted over ice cream. So I just had this, like, I didn't eat ice cream for a long time. Even now, I'll eat ice cream maybe once every 3 or 4 months, 6 months maybe.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm not a huge ice cream fan. When I indulge, but I have to eat ice cream at home.
Yeah.
Because the older I get, the more my body does not like lactose. So it's like, eat that ice cream at home because you got like a 45-minute window.
Yeah.
And then it's on.
Yeah, usually now when I eat ice cream, it's like a hot fudge sundae, a hot fudge brownie or something like that. Like
yeah.
So it's like, okay, 1 or 2, maybe 5 or 7, maybe like 10 bites.
Yeah. I'm halfway through. I might as well finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, this or that. Nice little warm-up.
That was this or that.
Before we get into the topics at hand, I got to revisit the Phoenix Lights. Because I felt like a dumbass after the last one, and I was like, I didn't study it because I already knew it, and then there was shit that I didn't know, and I was like, stupid. I did find out that the week prior, just outside of Phoenix, that there was like multiple UFO sightings of something similar.
Is that by that native tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting, and then going back and looking at that V-shaped craft, I don't buy that for a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Me neither.
Like, how does a dirigible, basically, made out of space-age material, fly at fucking 14,000 miles an hour?
I don't know. To me, it sounded like it looked more like it was something that they were trying to backfill information.
Yeah.
To cover up something else.
It felt like a really simple way to be like, oh yeah, it was this.
Right. It was a balloon. Let's see what's worked in the past. Balloon. We got to make a
throw in some swamp gas.
V-shaped balloon.
Yeah, swamp gas, and there was some chemicals in the air that night.
Yeah. It was one of those flappy arms guys.
Wacky waving inflatable flailing tube man.
Got away.
There was 2 of them together,
yeah.
And they were like mating.
Makes sense.
I don't buy that.
Me neither.
At all. I don't even buy 5 Symington coming out later on and being like, oh yeah, I saw it. Fuck you. Nobody cares what you think anymore. Piece of shit.
Sorry, too late. You already had your chance. You blew it.
You blew it.
Next.
Not a very tremendous guy, if I don't say so myself. I gotta stop doing the Trump thing. After the Epstein files and all that, I'm just like... Have you been looking into that?
No.
It's tertiary, but I recommend you don't. So I was dead wrong before when we did that episode. I know I'm getting off into the weeds, but I got to touch on it. So I had said something like, it feels like we're being fed the Epstein thing because it's somehow the most palatable of all the other sick fucks out there, like Diddy and all that. And now there's been like 3 million pages of the Epstein files have been dumped. I was totally wrong. It is evil. It's satanic. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Don't look into it.
Well, I kind of had that thought myself, but I do think that, to me, it still seems like he was he was working for some agency.
Oh, yeah.
Collecting information, so why the fuck else would he have all that information?
There was a lot of ties to Mossad and things like that. There's so much, and probably down the road we'll have to revisit it, but I just wanted to tell you I was wrong, because I was like, yeah, he liked teenage girls, which is not right in any way, shape, or form, but it's somehow better than a lot of the other sick fucks. But you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not condoning anything. I think it's all awful. But it's just like now with all the files coming out and all the shit coming out in them is I think this within the next year, this needs to go from the Epstein files to the fucking Epstein trials.
Yeah.
We need to start seeing some people get hung.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe we could just establish kind of like ICE, but for the Epstein files.
Ooh.
Like Fleiss or something.
Fleiss, like Heidi Fleiss.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I just wanted to touch on that.
Okay.
Anyway, Travis Walton, you want to start there?
Travis Walton. Yeah, let's start there.
The ghost pooper himself.
I have had my own encounter with Mr. Travis Walton, which I think I was maybe a similar feeling to what he was feeling in that grove that night, you know? When I went to Phenomicon and I was pooping, and of course you can, like, when you notice people, like, sitting in the stall next to you, and you're like, can I push this out with force, or do I have to be discreet? And
do I have to to break the sounds you hear? Courtesy flush, that's a...
So I get up, and then I'm, like, washing my hands, and then the person in the stall next to me comes out, and is right next to me washing his hands, and I just glance up into the mirror, and I see him, and I'm like, why the fuck is this guy so familiar? And it was like, we're at this place and there's all these people from all these shows, so I'm trying to figure out who he is. Like, I know he's somebody from somewhere. Oh, well, yeah, I'll figure it out. And I go outside, and then later on I see him come down and sit down at the table, and I was like, that's fucking Travis Walton, bro! It's a fire in the sky!
He gets up to do his bit up there, and you're like, you just took a shit!
Ghost poop!
Poop did not make a sound. I remember the first time hearing that story, and you're like, the poop did not make a sound, and I fucking lost it. Very interesting story.
Very interesting.
So, before you delved into it, did you believe it?
Yeah, I believed his story. Yeah, I believe that something happened to him.
I believe it too, honestly. Like I did before, and I still do. And I know there's been a lot of detractors of it. But it's kind of like the details line up for me with like when they went back to look for him and they found the spot where he landed, or like where he fell down, but they didn't find any tracks leading away from it, or the other 5 guys who witnessed the whole thing and said this is exactly what happened.
Right.
They all passed their polygraph, which a polygraph is like, it's not admissible in court.
Right.
But it's still a very delicate science.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it like 80% credibility on polygraphs.
Well, even to have all of them pass not just a single polygraph, they took multiple polygraphs.
Yeah.
All of them did. And seem like either they're all great at lying or great at, you know, there are people who can beat a polygraph, and you have to control your mind and your heart rate and shit like that.
But your average kind of redneck guys in Snowflake, Arizona, they're not trained for that.
Right. So, I mean, for me, I think that lends so much credibility to the story, because if it was just him coming out and saying it'd be one thing, and it's like, okay, this guy went up into the woods, ate a bunch of mushrooms, and got tripped off his balls for fucking 5 days, and this is what he now remembers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that aspect of the story is huge credibility for me.
I agree. And I tried to watch probably 4 or 5 different videos of people talking about why it's fake and this and that. Not one of those fucking videos had any proof. It was just, it's fake. He made the whole thing up, guys. It's it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, share with me your reasoning. There's nothing.
Yeah. What about the other guys who are not making money off of this story? They're still saying that it happened. Like, none of them have ever came out and saying that it didn't actually happen that way.
Yeah, and in fact, I watched a really good documentary on the whole thing, and they talked to all the dudes who were involved, well, all the ones who would want to be, and they all still have the same story, you know, 50 plus years later. Mm-hmm. And they all, you know, it kind of caused some rifts between some of them, but they've all mended fences, and even some of them to this day are like, I kind of wish it had happened to me instead. Yeah. And Travis Walton's like, I don't wish that to happen to anybody.
Yeah. So, to give a quick backstory, if you don't know who Travis Walton is, or Fire in the Sky, it's the movie that was made about his experience in 1975 or something like that. There's a group of loggers out in the forest. They get done logging for the day, and they're driving home through the windy forest road, and they come around the corner to a clearing and see a craft there. And so they stop the car and say, like, what the fuck is that? And so one guy, Travis, gets out of the truck and to go see what it is, get a closer look. All the other guys say they're maybe 100 yards away from it at most. And so as he gets closer, a beam of light comes out of this craft and hits him in the chest, and he goes flying back. The other guys that are still in the truck get scared, and so they take off. And then they drive down the road like they're fucking trying to get away. Then they come to their senses and like, we gotta go get him. Go back to go find him, and he isn't there. He's disappeared. And so I guess that time they contact the authorities and tell them what happened. For the next 5 days, they have search parties, helicopters out there in the forest, scouring the forest, looking for him, and they can't find him. And so they start thinking that these guys maybe killed him, and are trying to cover their tracks with some cockamamie story about aliens. 5 days later, he comes wandering out of the woods with, like, full beard.
A 5-day beard.
Yeah.
In his missing time event, he thinks it was only a few hours that he's been missing, but he's been missing for 5 whole days.
Right.
But yeah, he finds a payphone, and he calls, and he's like, hey, I'm out here, can you come get me? And doesn't remember anything that happened. All this got uncovered later on through regression therapy.
Right.
But he says that while he was on the ship, he was like on this table, and it didn't occur to him at the time, but they were trying to fix him. Whatever it was that sent him flying had a physical effect on him. So they're trying to fix him, but he panics, and he can see other people in the room, and he's trying to talk to them. And they finally like let him get up, and he grabs like a tube and tries to break it, so he has a weapon. And then all the creatures aboard, they all leave. They just leave the room. And then like one guy comes in, and he looks human, and he's wearing like a helmet, you know. Mm-hmm. I just imagine a dude with like a glass bowl over his head.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. But he basically calms him down, and he's like, we're going to help you, and blah, blah, blah. And so they ended up fixing whatever was wrong with him and just dropped him back off.
Yeah. Of course, they made a movie of his story, Fire in the Sky, which I thought I had seen. Like, I swear that I had seen it. And then, so I went home that night and I put it on. No, I had not seen that movie. And I kind of wish I can go back to that time when I hadn't seen it.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I actually enjoy it. It's not to say it's a great movie, but the fictionalization of the alien part makes for a good movie, but it's not the story, and I can't differentiate the two.
Yeah, I just was enamored by the choice of them to make the aliens look like drowsy penises.
They are fucking silly looking. Yeah. They got these tiny little beady eyes, and they're just like brown and like,
looks like they made them out of wet clay or something. Yeah. But then there was a few things, like in the movie, it was like, okay, he's on this alien ship, but why does it look like an intergalactic fucking trash compactor on the inside? They don't have housekeeping or something?
It's fucking super advanced technological race, and it looks like an Aztec tomb.
Yeah. It's like a fucking, like an episode of Space Hoarders or something.
I did get a kick out of because I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and it scared the shit out of me, but I was like 8 or 9 or whatever. But the scene where he like gets out of his pod thing, and he's like floating around, and he lands into another pod, and his hand goes right into the guts of another human, and you're like, oh my god. And then they do all the weird testing on him. They put that like sheet of what looks like is made out of jizz, and put the thing on his eye and drop a bunch of milk in there.
Scrotum sheet across his whole body.
But yeah, like none of that happened to Travis Walton in reality. That's Hollywood version.
Yeah.
And there's been multiple attempts to remake that movie to a more like accurate portrayal. But my question is, why? The story's been out there for nearly 6 decades now.
Right.
It's kind of like, do we really need a movie about it that's going to be accurate to the story? The story's been told over and over and over, and the movie itself is going to be pretty anticlimactic.
It's going to be kind of boring.
Yeah. So if you could take Fire in the Sky and just take the alien part out where he's having that regression part and just put in the real thing, it's the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it would be, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I had heard the story before watching the movie, and I was like,
what the fuck is this?
Everything was sounded pretty like it was going along with the story until now. It's just like a complete deviation of the truth.
It's total fabrication.
Yeah.
Still an entertaining movie.
I mean, I watched the whole thing. Yeah, I was just waiting for the aliens, and then the aliens are only in the movie for like maybe
3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Penises. You can't fucking unsee it. I'm going to have to put a clip in there, right there.
The drowsy penis fucking aliens.
And their weird hands and shit. So, yeah, the whole story, as it was going along, once he got back, I put some notes there. So APRO, Aerial Phenomena Research Organization, they were trying to investigate the whole thing. And one thing that came out of that I found really interesting was the guy who was the investigator, and I can't recall his name. I probably should have wrote it down on the notes. But he said that the story that these 6 men had told has certain details that line up with other stories from around the world that have not been published. So certain aspects of like what the craft looked like, the color of the beam, or there was a couple other details that came out. But he's like, there's no way that these 6 country boys from Arizona would have known these details from these other UFO abduction stories.
Right.
So that gave it some credibility to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they're telling stories, unless they were like actual researchers themselves, why would they know these like obscure details of from across the world?
Yeah.
Like there's still shit that I like. I'll be looking at something, watching something, and go, "Whoa, that's an interesting detail," and I feel like I know a lot of shit about worthless shit.
Yeah. We're pretty well versed in the whole UFO phenomena.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of times I'll read or watch something else about a different UFO event and go, oh, what? Okay, there's overlap with this story.
Yeah.
Or this one overlaps with that story or whatever. And they kind of all overlap with the different species theory, you know? Because you think about like the aliens that Travis Walton saw versus like the Virginia aliens look totally different, have totally different characteristics. Right. Or the woman in Superstition Mountains, the aliens that she saw is different than all of those. So that's like one overlap that all of them have, is that there are different species.
Right.
It's just the ones that took care of Travis Walton were seemingly more benevolent.
Yeah. And I think that was one thing that maybe it's just now that it's been, because that movie was made in like the 90s, I think. 93. Where there was kind of a craze for aliens, like Independence Day was coming out around that time. Predator, Aliens, those movies were big successes, and so like making the aliens seem scary was something that they wanted to do. I mean, Travis Walton also talks about he was scared when he first saw the beings, but he claims that now that he's had time to reflect on it, he thinks that that was his own thoughts of like what they were. He just was so, he didn't know what was going on, so it was just a natural reaction to be defensive, take an offense in defense of him, you know, for his life that he thought was in danger. But looking back on it now, he says that to him it seemed more like they were trying to help him than harm him.
Well, it's a perfectly natural response. You get knocked out and you wake up in a strange place with
all these hanging pricks around you,
just giant wet penises, and you just like you're gonna go into fight or flight mode. You know, it's just a natural response. You would do the same thing if you were abducted by the fucking cartel. Yeah. You're going to wake up strapped to a table, you're going to try to fight your way out of it. So that's totally understandable. One thing that I did find in this last documentary that I watched about it was this guy, Philip J. Klass. Note I put in there in parentheses, cunt. Because this guy tried so hard to discredit the whole story. In fact, offering bribe money to one of the dudes one of the 6 guys. He offered him $10,000, and in 1975 money, $10,000 is a lot. Yeah. But he tried so hard to just keep discrediting this story. But this guy had ties to the CIA and to the NSA, which gives more credence to the story in and of itself. Why would the government try to shut down this story? Yeah. When you could just say, yep, it's just 6 crazy old rednecks out there drinking moonshine or whatever. You could discredit that story so easily.
Especially in the 70s, dude, they were out there doing LSD logging. Yeah. They got done logging, smoked a fucking fatty.
These bearded fucking hippies out there.
These hippies did a bunch of mushrooms on the way home.
Yeah, no, these fucking long-haired beatniks out there cutting down trees and getting high.
Yeah. Cutting trees and smoking trees, as the youngsters would say, I guess.
I wonder how much just wild weed was out there.
Probably a lot. Arizona, maybe.
I mean, I don't know if like the climate is conducive to growing weed out there.
People would say that they used to grow all over the place in the South, like driving down the road and just be like all over the place. I don't know. When I lived down there, I didn't know what it was, so could have been surrounded by it.
Yeah, possibly. Peyote, though, out there in the desert. Yeah. Very possible.
Yeah.
Fucking solid it. They were on peyote.
They were on peyote. and they all had what is that when you have like everybody has the same hallucination?
Oh, what is it?
Hallucination?
Collective.
Oh.
Yeah.
A collective false memory.
Yeah.
Just call it that. Yeah. It's all bullshit, dude.
Or Travis Walton was feeding them all peyote.
Telling them a story.
But he was just telling them the story, and he's like, but really, I just don't want to go to work for 5 days. So he's just chilling up there in the woods. But he got them all fucking ripped on peyote, fed them the story, and they're like, oh my God, dude, that happened.
He's gone. He's gone. No, yeah. Through the whole story, I thought the movie kind of discredited the story a little bit. But the reality was a lot more benign or less grandeur in the actual story, but still a fantastical story, seemingly.
Well, I think that's part of the government play of the kind of 80s and 90s, where if you watched anything on TV, like Unsolved Mysteries or any documentary about anything that had to do with aliens, they were always like evil and malevolent. And I think that was part of the government cover-up of it, of if we keep feeding the public stories about these aliens being evil and terrifying and all that, people won't want to look into it. It's just a tinfoil hat theory I've always kind of thought.
Or they'll be too afraid if they get approached by a vehicle to make contact and get information that the government doesn't want them to have.
Yeah. Either way, it's part of the protocol. But now we live in a very different age where most people are out here going, fucking disclosure, let's go.
Yeah.
A fucking story gets published in the Washington Post about the government admitting that they have off-world created vehicles, and nobody's even like shocked. We just go, oh,
and it's still like a debated topic of if they do have them or not. It's like, dude, they came out and said that they do.
Yeah. There's no more mystery there. Let's move the fuck on.
Okay, next. So, give me some more info.
Yeah, give me some new stuff. We know that. Show me a fucking alien. So, after delving into it, do you still believe Travis Walton's story?
Yeah. I think that I kind of have thoughts about the hypnosis therapy that he went through, because you can misremember something and you can be kind of fed false narratives and then believe them because you're in that state. But so whether all of it is what he truly remembers, or if it's something similar to that, I think that's possible.
Well, and your mind can give you false scenarios itself if it wants to cover up something traumatic. So maybe he did go up in the ship and the fucking aliens look like wet penises, and then his mind just like concocted this story that they were benevolent and everything else to mask,
what really happened.
Yeah, so he got probed.
He was on.
That's why his poop doesn't make a sound. It just falls out.
He when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think he was in right around COVID, 2020 or 2021. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe asked him if was he wearing the same clothes when he got found, and he was like, yeah. And so, well, you were gone for 5 days. Like, do you remember? Did you have to take a shit? How did you do that? And he was like, well, I don't recall having to do that. I don't recall eating. I don't recall drinking anything. But going 5 days without relieving yourself is something that you would probably notice or whatever. And he was like, my clothes were clean, so I'm assuming that those things were taken care of without my recollection of them. And he thinks that there was a lot of things that were done to him that he can't really remember, which alluded to like probing. Yeah.
So my mind tries to make sense of that aspect of, was he really gone that long? Or was it just like a missing time thing? Because I tend to think about missing time as, let's say in this scenario where he's actually gone for 5 days, but we're talking 5 days of Earth time versus what would time be like in space or in a pocket dimension or something like that.
Or even if he's in a ship that's traveling at a speed that is close to the speed of light, or that's going to alter time.
Yeah, or if they're near a black hole or something like that. So maybe for him it was only a few hours, but in our sense of time it was 5 days. But that doesn't explain how he got the 5-day beard.
Right.
I mean, unless it was just like you come back into time and then your body catches up in some way. So it's like, as soon as he landed, he had to take a shit.
Oh,
fuck. Just fucking growing a snake.
Yeah. Hot.
It's like, I gotta find a pave. Boom. Fuck. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, so they've taken astronauts with a clock, and you go up into space, and even astronauts that are like, I think there's one astronaut that has like a twin brother or something like that.
Yeah.
He's, now that he went to space for a certain amount of time and came back, he's actually like 15 minutes younger than his twin brother or something like that, just because of the time dilation of going into space. Space, you're moving at a certain rate of speed, which is different from on Earth, and so the time gets skewed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when he came back down, he didn't instantly age another 15 minutes really quick, but who knows?
Yeah. I'm just going to go with the story that he was on the craft for 5 days and he just doesn't remember it.
I wonder if that would hurt, though, to gain five days worth of beard in like fucking 3 seconds.
Just like,
yeah.
I don't know, that's what it feels like for me. I just had a trim and I've already got like probably a quarter of an inch. And that was just like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, I got to get a trim just to gain a quarter of an inch.
I see what you did there. I can go bald and still not get a quarter of an inch. Spatial issues, I don't know. So yeah, I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah, definitely something, if you have never heard the story before, it's it's one of the most popular alien abduction stories in history.
I actually put it above the Betty and Barney Hill story.
Yeah.
In terms of like believability and entertainment value in it.
Yeah.
Part of that is just because the Betty and Barney Hill story seems a little bit more, I guess, malevolent, versus the aliens in Travis Walton's story are more benevolent. So I think I just lean toward it for that reason. Mm-hmm. But there's also, with the Betty and Barney Hill, there's not really any witness testimony or anything like that. Right. Versus the Travis Walton story, it's not just the other 5 dudes there, it's also the mass amount of people who went looking for him and found no tracks and found no traces.
Right.
Or even the biologist teams that are going out there and examining trees here almost 60 years later and saying that the trees are like 25% more fibrous and things like that than they should be. Yeah. Which means there was probably some kind of radiological effect on the trees in the surrounding area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing Travis Walton says, that he went back there with a team to the spot that it happened, and they took samples from some of the trees that are growing around that grove, and even the side that's facing into the circle, or into where the craft was at. The growth rings were bigger, like it was growing faster on that side of the tree than on the opposite side of the tree, which in studies like in Chernobyl, where they've gone and looked at the what the radioactivity has done to the wildlife, it's caused things to grow faster. even in the crop circles, like when we're talking about the crop circles, the grain or whatever it is that's growing in the field that is affected by the crop circle actually has a better yield and grows a lot faster.
Yeah, when the stalk size is bigger around and everything.
Right. So, I mean, it all kind of lines up to showing proof of something.
There's definitely real evidence there.
Right.
And you can't just be like, yeah, it's just a random spot. Like, this random spot where a UFO fucking landed,
Yeah.
now the vegetation is stronger and more healthy? Okay, bud.
Yeah. We just need UFOs to fly over the valley at some point. Maybe get us a little more water.
Yeah, but it's a dry fucking year this year.
Yeah.
No real snowfall so far, and here we are in February.
It's gonna be lean. My grass is already fucking dead.
And it's cold out.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to Bradshaw Ranch.
Bradshaw Ranch. Galactic Park.
Galactic Park.
You might say.
The funding fell through on that.
The what?
The funding fell through.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were going to turn it into like this tourist trap thing, and it was probably for the better. It didn't work.
Yeah. What do you think about it? Like, had you heard about it before?
I had heard some whispers about it. I had seen it on Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. I didn't really watch the episodes, because to me the offshoot of Beyond Skinwalker Ranch is kind of like, it's kind of like watching House of Dragons after Game of Thrones was over years ago. Like, I'm kind of out of it.
Yeah.
If you'd come out with that show at the same time or slightly later, I would have been into it. But I feel disconnected from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had only heard some whispers about it, and then when I really delved into it, I went, okay, there's something here in this story that is super interesting.
Yeah.
Because it really is a sibling to Skinwalker Ranch.
Seems that way.
The only difference that I've heard from all the testimonials is that nobody gets hurt or attacked at Bradshaw Ranch, but people do get hurt and attacked at Skinwalker Ranch. Which is kind of an interesting thing.
Well, it's almost the same parallel between Sedona, Arizona, and the Superstition Mountains.
Yeah.
In that same vein of one is benevolent and one is malevolent, opposing forces, if you will.
Because Sedona definitely feels a little bit more like, I guess, altruistic. Like, it really is about the healing and the growth and everything there, versus Superstition Mountain is just like, there's evil there, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm only speculating, using that word for juxtaposition.
Yeah. So it's like, in my mind, the way that I think about it is like, if one place is pushing out energy to heal, then it's got to be pulling energy from somewhere else so it's pulling energy from over here and pushing it out back over here.
I like that theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be a zero sum somehow.
Mm-hmm. Almost like there's how the magnetic field around the Earth kind of bounces around the Earth like this, but it's on the inside, it's like coming down from here and then coming out over here.
No, I agree.
Maybe it's traveling along those ley lines.
Those ley lines. I tried so hard to make the ley line theory work.
Yeah. I wonder if there are any ley lines that connect all of these, like Sedona and the Superstition Mountains, and then like Bradshaw Ranch and Skinwalker Ranch.
I'm still kind of working on it. Admittedly, I don't understand ley lines enough.
Me neither.
To put it into place, because there's like 5 different versions of it, and so I'm gonna keep playing with it, and that'll probably be in like the last episode of this series. So I can't give it any credence until I've figured it out. But even ChatGPT is like, hold on, before I make this map, ley lines are fake, right? Not in those words, but basically.
Chill.
Like, pump the brakes for a second, homie. Just so you know, this is a fringe theory. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Bradshaw Ranch, so it was just a ranch that was purchased by, was his name Bob? Robert Bradshaw? Bob Bradshaw?
Bob and Linda.
Bob and Linda Bradshaw in like the 1950s or something like that.
Yeah, I think they owned it from 1960 till 2000.
Yeah.
And then guess who bought it?
Bigelow?
The government.
Oh, the government, that's right.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so this guy, he was like a stuntman, a Hollywood stuntman, and so he bought this big ranch and then constructed an old western town, and so they would shoot old western movies there, like Elvis Presley did one of his movies at his little fake old western town.
It's like the Arizona version of Spawn Ranch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, he started noticing, he started noticing a few things, and then his wife really started noticing a lot of things. So they would she started documenting and taking pictures, and then got other people involved to come help her document and report on these anomalous things that are happening, lights in the skies. They're seeing like creatures out on their ranch that she describes as like one of them like a white Bigfoot, white colored Bigfoot, not like Caucasian, but
it could be the Caucasian.
It could be.
I don't know how they're.
I thought those were called Yetis, but whatever. I don't know why a Yeti would be. Maybe he's vacationing in Sedona.
I would think he'd be having a temperature issue there.
Yeah.
They're only Yetis if they're in like Asia and Russia.
Yeah.
In the tundras.
They're built for the snow.
Yeah.
So like he's just on vacation, he's on a holiday, trying to get some fucking rays.
He just hops in a portal and he's like, oh, this is so much nicer.
Fuck, thaw out these fucking fingers.
It's like that moment, where you go from snowy Utah and you get on a plane and then you go to like California and you get out and you're like, oh my God, I feel amazing.
Not me, I get out and I'm like, oh, my shirt is already damp. Fuck.
So yeah, all kinds of weird shit. Bigfoots, UFOs, paranormal activity, ghosts, balls of light, just
Tales of skinwalkers. Dogmen.
So there's so many strange parallels with Skinwalker Ranch, which makes me question why is it, the people that get hurt at Skinwalker Ranch, but it doesn't happen at Bradshaw Ranch. Now, I did find a couple of through lines that were interesting. So Skinwalker Ranch is kind of like the trickster, where it's like, if you go there thinking it's bullshit and nothing's going to happen, shit happens. And it's the same testimony across the board. Even Travis Taylor's talked about it. I'm going to go here, I'm going to solve this in a day. Mm-hmm. And then here he is, fucking 5 or 6 years later, still investigating it.
You're right.
Versus Bradshaw Ranch seems to respond to fear. People who go to the ranch that are afraid of witnessing an event or something, nothing happens. It doesn't try to prove them wrong. It just essentially says, okay, I can tell you're afraid. I'm not going to spook you out. Very strange.
Yeah, I mean, if there are energy portals there, it can maybe sense the energy of the people in the area, and they don't want to kill some poor dude that's fucking terrified of being out there. Then again, like, if you're that scared, why would you even go out?
Yeah. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, at the time, if you were going to be like a house guest of the Bradshaws before it became a hot spot, and you've maybe heard a couple of stories and you go there and you're already, trepidatious of it, I could see that. But all the people that have gone there after the fact to investigate or have an experience or whatever, if you're afraid, don't fucking go.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think that the thing that is a big difference to me is that Skinwalker has been researched and verified anomalies by so many people and different agencies like even government agencies and government people that have gone there will report things happening. Bradshaw is more of a people who are into these things go there and then they tell what has happened instead of like an official type investigation.
Yeah.
Does that like take away from the credibility? A little bit, just because it's like people who are going looking for these things are going to eventually find something.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just because they haven't had like big crews of like official people go out there yet. I don't know. Or maybe they have and they just don't report their findings. What was that?
Well, it's my tablet is over there, and I just got a text.
Oh.
So, yeah, it sounded weird, though, didn't it? It was like a little ghost fart.
Ghost fart.
And you just...
Oopsies.
A little. Yeah, it's definitely more of like a homegrown Skinwalker Ranch type deal. Versus with Skinwalker Ranch, you've had Bigelow out there and various people who work for the government, and then it was sold to Brandon Fugel, and now they have their thing going. Versus Bradshaw Ranch was kind of like more open to the public for people to come investigate if you were interested.
Right.
And even the Bradshaw family, they would host people over there who would want to come and investigate, which was kind of cool. I mean, Tom Dongo became like the primary investigator of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's nobody special. He's not like an investigative journalist or a scientist or anything. He's just a dude from Arizona who was super interested.
Yeah. So he was from like back east and then moved to Sedona because he was a UFO researcher before all that. Actually, he started out as a Bigfoot investigator because he had an experience when he was younger that I can't remember if he said that he saw a Bigfoot or a dogman.
But either way, he didn't have like credits to his name or an accreditation. He wasn't a scientist or anything like that.
Right.
He was just an amateur theorist, basically.
Yeah. I think she contacted him because he had written a book about UFOs and like UFO sightings. He was in the Sedona area, and then she contacted him, and so he started going out to the ranch to go investigate and spent a number of years out there taking pictures and going out at night and trying to find evidence and document evidence of the happenings that are going on there, which he has a lot of interesting material.
Oh yeah, I've watched countless hours of him doing presentations at like MUFON and things like that, and he has so many pictures and so many stories, and then he'll put these pictures up on the projector, and then there's a lot of them you go, what is that? Holy shit. And then there's other pictures I don't see a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, this is this, and this is what, the lens I use, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like a blurry picture of nothing.
Yeah.
But then there's other pictures, and one in particular was a picture in the sky. And you could tell there was UFOs moving about because they were kind of disorganized, but there was like this geometric shape in the sky. And the UFOs were kind of dancing around it. And that's how he describes it, too. So I was like, oh, man, that's fucking good.
Yeah. There was one picture, too, that was... I think it was the picture that got Dongo to go and investigate it, is because Linda had a picture of a supposed portal opening up, and then she was looking at described it as like a different time or different area.
Yeah.
To me, the picture looks like she was taking a picture through the window of outside, and there's a TV in the background reflecting on the window.
Yeah.
So like they showed the picture, and I was like, wait, this looks really fake. I'm not saying that it is, but things can be manipulated pretty easily.
They can be manipulated, and the flip side of that argument is we don't understand how these energy vortexes or portals would affect photography or any other human-made piece of tech to try to measure it. There's not enough information to pass judgment for me, but I do recall the picture, and I do recall thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, that looks like the reflection of a TV in a window.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's true or it's not. It just is questionable.
And like, I would question all the photographs just from a skeptical point of view. Of like, it's not that I don't believe you're saying this is what you guys saw, but like, all the things in your photos, most of the things in the photos could be recreated by trying different things with lens flares and fucking shit like that. But, you know, if you would have like solid recording, video recording, most of his evidence was taken around the 80s and 90s, and so it's like older video stock and older camcorder equipment and shit like that, and so all the photos do look grainy, but it's like, okay, well, if it was going on then, why can't we go out there now with like more high-tech stuff and get clear evidence? Some people are doing it, and it's like you see lights in the skies moving around. But do they have the capability of like tracking satellites and tracking airplanes in the air so that you know that it's not? You can say what it's not before you can imagine what it could be. Like,
yeah. It's just applying Occam's razor. It's the simplest answer is probably the most likely, where you can look at that photo and your mind automatically goes to, how could you fake this? How could you make this a forgery? Mm-hmm. It doesn't discredit the people taking the photos or the people taking the stories. It's just you have to eliminate the base answer first.
Right.
Which the base answer is always going to be, it's a fake or it's a fraud. So you have to eliminate the thing that you know first. Versus like that picture with the geometrical shape in the sky and the UFOs. I couldn't figure out how to fake it, but I'm not a photography expert or anything. But I looked at it and went, that looks really, really real to me. Mm-hmm. So applying Occam's razor and going, do they fake it? I don't see how they could have done it. Move on to the next ideal about it.
Yeah.
It's probably real.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at it almost the same as, maybe it's because I've been looking at like ghost hunting videos for so long that it's just like, okay, that would be easy to do.
That's exactly how my mind works.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing when I watch one of those videos, before I even like perceive the whole video, how do I fake that?
Yeah.
Oh, the chair moved back and it twisted. Okay, you wrap the fishing line around the chair, tie it off to a leg, and pull it. So when you pull it, it's like unraveling a spool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not only that, like especially seeing like lights in the sky, even with the Bledsoe stuff, where he can like, okay, the light's gonna appear over here, and then one comes through, and it's like, maybe he just has an innate ability to say when a satellite's gonna go by. You know, there are like 15,000 satellites that orbit Earth now. So there's, at any given time, you can see probably 5 or 6 different satellites crossing the sky at night. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's a possibility of things that happen at night.
It is, and I don't want to discredit or limit his ability on either end. Like, does he have the ability to call in UFOs? Possibly. Does he have some kind of techno ability to be able to map a satellite in the sky? Possibly. I have no idea. But just, you have to apply logic to all of it. It's like with the Bledsoe being at Skinwalker Ranch, and Travis Taylor was like, he didn't call out any UAPs, but anytime he called something out, a satellite would pass right away. It just raises questions without a judgment of saying he doesn't have that ability. It just means there's more to explore there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of explore, did you watch any of the Hoodoo Tall stuff about Bradshaw Ranch?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. Like, so Hoodoo Tall is an investigator, and he's walking along in the footsteps of Tom Dongo. He's kind of Tom Dongo's intern, if you will, or like a protege. I don't know. He comes across as very sincere, but at the same time feels like he's really trying to sell this idea of the whole thing. So I don't know. I get wishy-washy with people like that.
I got the same vibe. Like you said, the sincerity is there, 100%. But I always have a problem when like one person tries to become the figurehead of something. Mm-hmm. You're almost trying to sell a product,
right?
And that always kind of deters me. Versus like Tom Dongo and Linda were thick as thieves. They worked on it together. They wrote books together. They would have other people come and investigate and use their specialty. Where there's no kind of ownership over it. It's like this is a collective thing we're working on, but Hoodoo Tall kind of has like the licensing to it in a way.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like in a way with Brandon Fugel and Skinwalker Ranch, where he presents all of this stuff and he does a lot of interviews, but it's like you're not the guy out there investigating, so it just like creates a disconnect for me in some way. Nothing against Fugel. I think he seems like a cool dude, but
yeah, there was like his biggest thing coming into like seeing some of the stuff of his. There's a few documentaries on YouTube titled Hoodoo Tall, if you search for them, if you're interested in watching the stuff, where he's talking about these Bigfoot creatures and that he's tracked them there. Then he shows his pictures and videos of like the footprints that he's found. To him, they're very clear evidence of a Bigfoot walking through there. To me, it could be any animal, really.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the evidence, and there is a few that, to me, is incontrovertible that that's a Bigfoot footprint. And then there's other spots where he's like, oh yeah, a Bigfoot definitely walked through here. Like, did it?
Like, if you actually turn that around, it looks more like a cow footprint.
Yeah.
Dragging its foot and then stepping through the mud.
It's like there's a disturbance here in the dirt. Okay, that's not a print. It's just a disturbance. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
The one thing I did find interesting about when he talks about the Bigfoot is where he was leaving them offerings, especially grapes, and then they would come back and the grapes are eaten, which seems interesting, but it's like, a squirrel will eat a grape too. I'm just
True.
saying.
And yeah, I mean, his thing was that he would leave grapes and he would put it on this little plastic red plate. And to him, the evidence that it was a Bigfoot is that he would come back, the grapes would be gone and eaten, but the plate wouldn't be disturbed. So if it was like a raccoon or something, the raccoon would probably knock the plate off of the rock or wherever he left it. But a squirrel probably wouldn't, or like a rat probably wouldn't, or a bird.
I would think if the plate was stationary on a solid platform, they could just climb up on the plate and eat the grapes.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but there's no proof to it for me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you put fruit out and wildlife ate it.
Yeah. So I was listening to that. I wasn't watching. I was listening to that this morning while I was cutting my hair, and but he was talking about like leaving chalk out there, and like he came back one day and there was a symbol written in the chalk with the chalk that matched a symbol that was identified at Rendlesham Forest, which was a really high-profile UFO case in England, which is, interesting.
Well, what I did find interesting, now that you brought up the Rendlesham Forest thing, is that the case where the soldier touched the craft at Rendlesham and he had a vision of a bunch of zeros and ones, wrote them down, and then just left it in his desk for a long time. And then like 20 years later or something, he pulled that out, and a friend of his was like, this is binary, we can plug this into the computer. And when they did it, and it came up with a list of, I think it's 8 places in the world, like gave coordinates to those places, and one of them was Bradshaw Ranch. Granted, that story has some controversy with it, and like the translation had some fragmented sentences and some kind of broken English, if you will. So it's like, if you're going to credit one, you got to credit the other. I do think the Rendlesham thing is mostly true. I think maybe just our computing power didn't match up to whatever message they were trying to convey, and that's why there's the disconnect. But the fact that Bradshaw Ranch is one of those places is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked, or I mentioned it in the last one, where Linda Moulton Howe said that the government, she had found evidence that the government had said, I looked online and couldn't find anything, but how easy is it for the government to keep shit offline?
Oh, yeah.
But she said that she had found documents that said that the government was aware of 9 different places in the world where there was interdimensional portals that they had figured out how to open by using different sound frequencies, and Bradshaw Ranch was one of these places that was on the list, which leads to, like, there are a lot of rumors saying that area, right where the Bradshaw Ranch is located, is the location site of a deep underground military base, which is, I think, a lot more interesting and could account for a lot of the shit that is happening out there, like seeing these things that are flying around. If it's an underground military base that they're doing like black ops and testing out equipment and maybe even doing experiments with stuff down there.
I do give credibility to that idea. Just because of how many secret bases that we've looked at over the past few years, and it's like Dulce, for example. I 100% believe there's a base in Dulce.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes sense because the government bought that land, and I think it was in 2003, to where they could monitor and protect the ecosystem there.
Right.
There's a lot of open land in Arizona that could use that same effort, but you pick this one spot, Bradshaw Ranch.
Yeah, and so Bradshaw Ranch is located in an area. They said that they've seen military people, military convoys and stuff that were... So, like, there's a mountain not far from Bradshaw Ranch that's called Secret Mountain. Mm-hmm. And has been called that for a long time. That's where they figured that this military base is actually at, is in this secret mountain. On the other side of Bradshaw Ranch, there's a concrete plant, a big concrete plant that they make concrete. But they've said that they've seen convoys and trucks and stuff taking stuff into the concrete plant, and then they don't ever see that stuff ever again. Or big military convoys that go into the concrete plant and then don't ever come out. So in that show, Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, they do like a ground survey, a ground penetrating radar, and from what it looks like there's a tunnel that goes right underneath Bradshaw Ranch, and it's going from the concrete plant to Secret Mountain.
Wouldn't that be convenient? If you're trying to build an underground military facility, to guise it with a concrete factory, the one thing you're going to need the most of to build an underground facility.
Yeah. That would be a great opportunity for covertness.
I had put down some notes, and as soon as you brought it up, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that note card. So, the concrete factory is called Clarkdale Cement Factory. It's owned by Martin Marietta. And Martin Marietta is owned by Lockheed.
Interesting. Who's Lockheed?
You know, Lockheed Skunk Works?
Yeah.
You know, the reverse engineering arm of the government for alien reproduction vehicles.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
I had to dig to find that one.
Yeah.
And then I was digging and then I found it, but I had like YouTube playing on the side. And then after I found that and I wrote it down, I was like, fucking cool. And then somebody said it in a video.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, that's very convenient. You know, if you need to build tunnels and infrastructure to have a cement factory there where you can literally manufacture the cement and turn around and put it into use building this underground facility.
Yeah. Well, also, like, if you're building a tunnel to this secret place, you're going to have a bunch of debris you have to take out.
Yeah.
When you tunnel in, bring the debris out into the yard of the cement factory, it looks normal. Like, it looks like people, that's what you're supposed to be doing in a cement yard factory. It's kind of like that one down in South Salt Lake where there's just piles of rubble and shit everywhere.
Yeah.
They're making the concrete mix out of. So I think that's a pretty good
Perfect cover. Fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Especially when you put it under a shell company that's owned by fucking Lockheed Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even Linda Bradshaw said that she saw she would always see convoys of trucks that had these big pipes, like a tunnel type shaped, like big concrete, almost like a concrete pipe,
Like a culvert.
like culvert, yeah. And the trucks would go down to the concrete plant, but she was like, there was so many of them. I don't know why they would need all those. And then
For a concrete factory.
They would just disappear and then never see them again. But Robert Bradshaw would say that they would feel like tremors and hear noise all the time at night, during the day.
Like mass excavation.
Yeah, was being done, but it's like it would feel like it was like right underneath us. It's possible that it probably was.
I'm going with it because even watching Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and they're doing ground penetrating radar outside of the fence, which why is Bradshaw Ranch fenced off?
Yeah.
Interesting. But they're doing ground penetrating radar and they're finding 50-foot diameter tunnels. It's like, why would there be a 50-foot diameter tunnel under a random ranch in the middle fucking Arizona?
Yeah. Makes my fucking spidey senses tingle.
Gets me harder than Chinese algebra.
That dongles my dingle.
That dongles my tongue. So, yeah, I'm giving 100% credibility that there is some kind of secret base under there. I think we lean too much into the word military instead of it just being some kind of covert thing. Mm-hmm. The military may not even be involved in it. We just like saying that word.
Yeah, we say military, but like in those incidences we are talking more about black sites type places, which, yeah, like you said, the military in general probably doesn't really know about. I mean, they're funded by the military. Or
funded by the military budget.
Funded by tax dollars.
Yeah.
100%. But, I mean, so in one of the episodes, they're talking about this, and so they decide to go to Secret Mountain and, like, fly a drone over there to see what's over there. And they get the drone up in the air, and it flies out a certain to a certain, let's like 200 feet away from where they're at, and then like turns around and comes back, says that it can't fly there. It's restricted airspace.
Yeah.
Most of the places that are restricted airspace for that will do that to a drone are military installments.
And if you're close enough to an airport.
Yeah.
So most drone technology now is controlled with GPS. And it's like if you're too close to an airport, it won't let you fly. Where even here, where we're like, I don't know, 10 miles from the airport, I can fly my drone outside, but I have a ceiling that I can't go past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 350 feet or something like that. It will not go up there. And if I try to force it, it will make the drone return to home. So it's, yeah, there's 100% credibility with that because it is all mapped and it is all predisposed of where you can and cannot fly a drone. Unless it's a completely manual, like no intelligence built into it, like just a straight remote control thing.
I was kind of thinking that when we went to Mercer.
Yeah.
When we were trying to fly the drone around, just because it's right next to the Tooele Army Depot, if that was the reason why it wouldn't go.
So there were boundaries that I couldn't go past. Because I remember bumping into one of them, kind of like getting a long shot, and I get out there and it gives me a warning of restricted airspace,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't very far. So it was probably 300 feet away in that direction.
Towards the depot.
Yeah, and then I just turned it around and flew it back.
Mm.
So totally real thing. But the fact that he couldn't get it like more than 200 feet away and it would just return to home, but without a warning, because normally it'll pop up a warning saying you're entering restricted airspace. But the fact that it just told it to return to home is so strange.
Yeah.
They don't really do that.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's a fucking military base under there.
I think there is. To me, it seems like there's some kind of secretive thing that's going on that they might be trying to cover up with, maybe letting people investigate it for paranormal reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they can keep it in that realm of these people are crazy.
Yeah, if you can keep it woo-woo, more people won't look at it.
Right.
Which is why you'll see paranormal investigation videos from Bradshaw Ranch, but you're not seeing like scientific investigation.
Yeah.
It's the typical, I've got a K2 meter and a REM pod type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're letting these people in, giving it discredibility right off the bat.
Right.
Which is a smart play.
Smart.
There's also the factor of the 1.6 gigahertz signal that has been picked up out there.
Yeah.
Which is reserved for the military and to space communication, which is also seen at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, and I want to say that there's one they go to Bradshaw Ranch a couple times on that Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and they broadcast that signal just like they did at Skinwalker, and same thing happens to them where they start hearing the echo of their own voices on their recordings, and it's just like a loop of a playback of the audio that they're talking. They're not sending a signal out, but they're receiving a signal of their own voices, almost like somebody is spying on them or picking that up.
It's almost like a kind of a fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, because they're trying to pick up the signal, and then it gets reverberated back to them at a different rating. It's like a 770 hertz or whatever it was. And it's almost like, yeah, you're trying to listen, but we can hold up a mirror and deflect that right back to you. You know,
we know what you're doing. We can hear everything you're saying.
Yeah, it's good. Why would there be such a strong 1.6 gigahertz signal there?
Yeah. You know what? I was listening to that interview with Tom Dongo and Russ Coulthart.
Russ Coulthart, yeah.
Coulthart. On the drive over here. And I was like, man, this guy, Tom Dongo, just sounds like somebody's remixing his vocals live. and like maybe he's spent too much time in that range and he's just getting the feedback in his own head still. I mean, I stutter and trip over my words all the time, but that guy's just, he's old. He's like 80 years old. And he's like, I went to the.
Yeah. He's definitely, he's old.
Yeah.
So he's starting to get a little disconnected. Like I was watching one where he did like he was on a podcast, but he was like at his own house. They were doing it like on Zoom. And he would just randomly be like, oh, I left the kitchen light on. Sorry, I'm just eating spaghetti. Like, it's just he's kind of just a doddering old man at this point.
Yeah.
But in his, even in his older presentations, he's kind of the same way. But it gives him more credibility. He's kind of a normal dude. Mm-hmm. And then he starts talking about being a remote viewer and what was it called? A medical seer or something like that. And then he's like, I can predict with 100% accuracy. Okay, let me stop you right there. No, you can't.
There's some things you can probably predict about people just by looking at them, like, oh, this guy's 100 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I'm going to say heart issues.
Man, that foot is going to come off from that diabetes.
High insulin. I'm detecting a lot of cortisol.
Oh, knee problems.
You have backaches? I knew it.
Just a woman with huge boobs, and you're like, lower back problems. I can tell. I'm a medical seer.
Wow.
She's like, how did you know? Psychic. Yeah, it kind of discredits him in a way. But at the same time, I believe in all that stuff. But I kind of believe the people who are probably really good at it don't want anybody to know.
Yeah, I would assume that coming out and telling people on like a big platform would either cause a lot of people to call you fucking full of shit or try to contact you about getting healed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing he was saying was that when he would do like this medical remote viewing or whatever the fuck he called it, was that if he charged people for it, he couldn't figure it out. But if he did it for free, he had like 100% accuracy. But like you're saying, if you're on all these major platforms and doing all these podcasts and everything, and you're advertising you have this ability, you are either inviting people to call you bullshit or you're inviting challenge.
Yeah.
You're going to get, medical doctors who are like, let's see, bring him into the hospital and diagnose this patient, and then it's like, okay, that's not what he has. You're an idiot,
Actually has AIDS, you fucking dummy.
He's like, I could tell it's pancreatic cancer. It really is. And the doctor's like, no, it's colon trauma. He shoved a plunger in his ass.
He'd been probed 1,700 times.
I still like Tom Dongo, and I think he did a lot of really great work.
Yeah.
But there's questionable things with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I consumed a lot of his older stuff, some of his newer stuff, and then I got down the rabbit hole of voodoo or hoodoo tall, which I was just kind of trying not to be sold on.
Yeah, I definitely try to keep my consumption on the hoodoo tall thing a little bit smaller, because I was more focused on the military thing and then the kind of comparisons with Skinwalker Ranch, which actually leads me to one. So Linda Bradshaw was affected by things more than anybody. So she would have the most paranormal activity, like poltergeist activity, seeing the creatures, things like that. And it was the same with Gwen Sherman on the Skinwalker Ranch, where she was more affected by things than anybody else. Where, she would tell these stories about, she would go to take her shower and she would lock the door and she'd have her towel and her hairbrush. So she took her shower and gets out, can't find her towel and her hairbrush. Like a week later, she finds the hairbrush in the freezer and the towel is, outside or whatever it was. I can't remember that part. But it was the same with Linda. Like she's standing there doing dishes and looks out the window and there's a creature looking right back at her, or balls of light would follow her around. It just seemed a weird parallel that it goes distinctly after the maternal character. And even kind of going back to Superstition Mountains, where the little people or the reptilians would be more on the prowl to attack women, especially women wearing baseball hats. So it's strange. It's almost like all these things are super misogynist.
That, or it goes back to the theory of like,
You take dick,
you're gonna get fucking probed. I mean, the nature of a more feminine energy is more receptive to other dimensional frequencies, maybe we could say.
I do 100% believe that women are more attuned in that sense. Like, they can have more experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there is something with the feminine energy, and then there is something with the maternal instinct, right? Because they carry the baby. They're more connected to the baby themselves. They grew it in their body. And I think there's some kind of tie there. I just haven't really put it together.
Maybe it's that energy is more of a nurturing type of energy, where if these things are energy spirits of the planet, then maybe they're reaching out to more nurturing energies just for, you don't want to get some aggro fucking male.
Well, and I think that is also the other aspect of it, of probably why men aren't as attuned to it, is like because of just our nature. We're hunter-gatherers. We are more protectors and that sort of thing. Like, we just have a completely different mindset about life than a woman does, and women are more nurturing.
Yeah, you see, as a guy, you see something and you're like, I want to hit that with a rock.
That's why you're talking about throwing fucking rocks up at the triangle and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, we're evolved Neanderthals is really what we are.
Yeah, we just have clothes on.
Yeah, we just have clothes on, and we don't do all the stupid shit we used to do, like just hit animals with clubs.
Yeah. Well, most of us don't.
Most of us don't. Yeah. Some people do.
Some people do.
I wonder what Jeff Hall's up to these days. That was an interesting thing to pick up on with the parallels there. And it's almost like, to me, it's less that they're, whatever energy or spirit that is that's fucking with these women. It's less about just being a pest or a nuisance. It's more about kind of crying out for help in a way.
Yeah. Or just showing themselves to be received in a way that's going to be like not fearful.
Yeah.
And not aggressive, but like presenting it to be able to put the information out there in a non-aggressive type way.
Yeah. Without it being like malevolent, without harming.
Grab your torch and pitchfork.
It's super interesting, and I would love to see that firsthand.
Yeah, and so in one of the videos of Hoodoo Tall, he talks about that, where he was like, if you really want to see something at Bradshaw Ranch, go out there, leave all of your technology. Leave your phone, leave your camera. Don't take any of that shit out there, because it seems like it can sense that stuff. Go out there with an open, positive mindset, and you will see something.
Yeah.
And but as soon as you go out there with intent to capture or like be a part of this thing that you want to get, it won't show itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's going out there with cameras and shit like that, but like,
well, I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm Hoodoo Tall.
I've been out here. They know my energy, and so they let me take photos. They let me photograph them.
So yeah, one thing that I can't remember if it was him or if it was Tom Dongo talking about it, where if you want to genuinely have an experience with these entities, whatever they are, especially with like the UFO thing, where if you want to talk to these aliens, you have to go out into nature with no technology, and you have to sit and like meditate and disconnect. Like you can't be in a place where you can switch on a light switch. Like you have to be far out, and then you have to welcome the experience. And he, again, whichever one it was, talked about doing it, and the way he said it was, you know, I'm ready to communicate with you, and he held out his hand, and then one of these like aliens held his hand, which makes me want to try it.
Yeah.
But
do you have to go to Bradshaw Ranch to do that, though?
I don't think so. I think that's just our natural connectivity to whatever's out there.
Yeah.
Like people who can summon the UFOs like Bledsoe, I don't necessarily think it's tied to having died anymore. I think it's just something that we're all capable of doing if we can kind of get on that frequency.
Right.
So really, probably, I don't know, like we were at Merker, and me and Deacon saw UAPs flying around.
Yeah.
And very clearly not satellites because of the patterns and shit they're doing. So maybe a place like that that's already kind of high in spiritual energy, why not?
Yeah, maybe we could do an investigation of that nature in that area.
I think so.
Be
But
interesting.
yeah. But still, I kind of have my doubts with Hoodoo Tall.
Yeah, like I said, I think that he's sincere in what he is. I mean, he obviously has spent many years doing this in pursuit of the information that he has gotten so far. But it seems like he's just pushing to sell it so hard that it seems disingenuous almost.
Yeah, I mean, he's not making money off of it per se.
Right.
But he is kind of like trying to propel himself as like the arbiter of the Bradshaw Ranch phenomena.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just once you kind of put yourself in that position, you do lose credibility with me, even if you're 100% legit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the president taking credit for a good thing that happens in the country. It's like, you know, you still have Senate and Congress that have to make the laws, that push the laws through, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not a one-man effort.
Yeah.
Is the problem I have.
Yeah. Like you said, I also believe that everybody's capable of doing these things. It is just learning how to get to that frequency of like being able to receive a transmission. I do think that a lot of people who have had near-death experiences probably have access to gaining that frequency or tuning into that, whatever the frequency is, just because they've been there before.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily something that has to happen for you to be able to do it.
I don't think so, because I think between the physical and the metaphysical, there's like a membrane there, and it's almost built up like a callus as you've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've died and come back, you've shed a big layer of that callus, so it's like the veil between is really thin.
Yeah, it's like a big velvet curtain at first, and then once you've already kind of looked behind the curtain and then went back, now it's kind of like a lace type of curtain that you can kind of see things through and feel things through.
It's very sheer.
Yeah, very sexy.
Like, is that a nipple?
It's like when you're watching the scrambled TV screen and then all of a sudden you start getting blips and then it becomes more clear as you get that antenna tuned in right.
Yeah, and it's like now that your mind is like, okay, I'm pretty sure I saw a boob, it starts assembling the rest of the woman.
That was definitely a boob.
That was 100% a boob.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
God, there's a wiener.
You get it totally focused in and it's like a Hershey's Kisses fucking commercial.
You're like, I'm pretty sure I just saw a dude's dick. Oh, wait, am I watching Fire in the Sky?
Alien.
Alien. My bad. So, yeah, there's definitely some strange phenomena there. I do believe that it is one of those places on that list that definitely has interdimensional portal capabilities, and there's 100% a military underground base there.
Yeah. I think that they know that they probably discovered this energy vortex or portal, whatever it is, and then took advantage of it and set up shop, as they say.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the guys from Beyond Skinwalker Ranch even said the house is potentially like a terrarium in a way. And I really thought about that, because a terrarium is, you know, a place where you would house animals. And then I thought, what kind of animals do they have in there?
It was pretty, like when you pointed out that it was, the house has been there since the 50s, but nobody's really lived there for a long time.
But it's retrofitted.
But they have this brand new, like, AC ducting on the outside. And it's like, well, who did that and why? If it really is if that area is being used for research on animals and wildlife and nature, maybe they're using that house as kind of a home base when they go there. Seems a lot to put into that, though.
I think the house is just like a cover for the fucking elevator that takes you down.
Yeah, kind of like Resident Evil, the first one.
Yeah. Or like, you know, you go into the house, you make sure there's no looky-loos, closes the curtains and everything, and then you go into the, you know, like a room that has a bookcase, and you tilt that book back, and then you just start descending down into the military base.
Yeah.
Fucking solved it.
Yeah. And you start seeing fucking drowsy penis aliens sludging around.
It's like each layer, there's, you know, like a plexiglass case of different aliens. And this level's got the reptilians, and then this one is the little people that they've captured, and then this one is the penis aliens. And, yeah.
What is that? Cabin in the Woods?
Oh, yeah. Where they have like the elevator that goes down, and you see like the different horror creatures and shit. Yeah. That was actually a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
I like that one. Total plot twist.
Total plot twist.
And you're like, I'm about it.
Yeah. At the end, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Tight, dude. I had to watch that twice just to fucking...
I love that they're all like taking bets. Like, what's it going to be? The wolf, you know? Shit like that. I was like, this is a very, very clever premise.
Yeah.
I also really love the scene where, like, Chris Hemsworth finds a dirt bike, and he's like, I'm going to go and get help, and he, like, goes and he ramps, and he goes into, like, the fucking holographic wall and just dies.
Yeah, that was one of those movies that has, like, pretty much every horror type scenario in it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was so good.
Yeah. Anyways, big Travis Walton, Bradshaw Ranch. I think we solved both of them, really.
Yeah. I mean, the Travis Walton story is true.
True.
But, you know, his mind created up a story because he was getting something shoved in his butt. Which is why
would probably happen to most people.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine a lot of people in prison are just, like, manufacturing stories in their brain to hide the fact that they got boo food.
Maybe we should, like, go there and see how many of them have been abducted by aliens.
So, bro, I was in my cell, right? And the door opened, and these two huge aliens came up. They all had tattoos, by the way. It's so weird. But yeah, they were like, we need a sample because your genetics are special. And my head went into the pillow after that. And
that's the last thing I remember until I came.
And then I woke up, and my poop didn't make a sound. Just like I heard it splash, but that was it. Tight.
So not anymore.
It's like a... What was that? Farted. Gross. So yeah, fucking solved it, dude. We're not done with Arizona, but we solved those two.
Yeah, those two cases are closed. Well, they're really wide open now for speculation.
Totally. Speculate all you want.
Yeah.
But there's other shit in Arizona that's still fucking weird.
So much.
And we're going to cover it.
We're going to cover it.
So, we'll pull it there, Doctor.
Doctor.
Bye.
Bye bye.